Hello and welcome back to the Skella Variety Channel. I'm Skella, and this is my channel. Skella, your audio sounds so bad. I know, I can't do anything about it, okay? Leave me alone. So, how have you guys been? I have been in college, which means I'll have even less time to make videos. Yippee! So I have decided to return with something relatable, something that we all know and love. Earth's creatures. Now, I am an animal lover. I love all animals, no matter how scary or nasty. I love bugs, I love coyotes, I love snakes. Every creature is deserving of life. But, as I have come to learn, just because you love something, it doesn't mean you can't acknowledge how f***ed up it is. It's like being a Gravity Falls fan. This show's awesome! Oh my god! And that's what we'll be talking about today. Some of Earth's most fantastical and bullshit creatures. Now, if we were just going on appearances, this list could go on forever. But I'm not just going to be focusing on appearances this video. I'm talking about some of the inherent abilities of these creatures, be it their intelligence or some other unique trait that just gives them such a gall to be alive, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking about that kind of gall. So grab a seat, or a bed, or however you choose to relax, and let us start with our number 10 spot. Alrighty, first up on the list are corvids, and before you say Skella, that's an entire family tree, not a single animal. Shut up. It's my video, I do what I want. And, I'm specifically talking about crows and ravens because I know they're different birds, but they both do the same shit. For hundreds of years, crows and ravens have had this reputation as dark and cunning spirit guides, and for a very, very good reason. They are so goddamn smart, and I'm sure most of you watching already know this, but the amount of things that we have discovered they are able to do is astonishing. They can solve all kinds of puzzles both alone and as a team with other birds. And not only can they recognize faces, but they can also tell other crows and ravens about you. So if you were to piss off a specific crow or raven, it can go tell its friends and they can all gang up on you and peck your eyes out. For multiple generations. An animal shouldn't be allowed to do that. I'm not crazy for thinking that, right? Like, if you were to step on a dog's tail, it wouldn't then proceed to go tell all its dog friends to bite your balls off next time they see you. Like, that's not a thing that animals do, but crows and ravens do that. They spread gossip, they hold grudges, it's frightening, and they can fly, so they already have a leg above us. They can also talk pretty well, and yeah, parrots and parakeets can also talk, but they don't talk the same way that parrots do. I don't know how else to describe it, just listen to it for yourself.
Mischief, can you say hello?
Hello.
Good bird.
I know, right? Hey. I know, right?
I know.
Who's a good bird?
What's up?
Say it in my voice.
What's that?
Nice job.
I don't know, the way that they speak, it has much more, like, malicious undertones to me. Like some kind of mimic creature that steals people's voices. Now, crows and ravens can form grudges against people, but they can also form bonds with them. This means they can be used for evil. Hear me out. If there's a family of crows or ravens that live near you, you can absolutely do this for yourself. Meet up with them as regularly as you can and just feed them, like birdseed or whatever they like to eat. Do this regularly, and not only will they grow to trust you, but they'll also start returning the favor. And by this, I mean they'll start bringing stuff back to you. There are so many stories of people forming bonds with local crows or ravens, and the ravens end up bringing back, like, money, like dollar bills, and nobody knows where they are getting this money from, or why they know we want it, or how they know that we value money. How do these birds know the value of money? I'm not saying that you should train crows and ravens to rob people for money, but I am saying it's possible. There was also that one raven that was a huge to Edgar Allan Poe for no reason. I think that's pretty messed up. Anyway, number 9.
Ants. Ants.
At number 9, we have nature's little soldiers, ants. Let me just get this out of the way. I am obsessed with ants. I love ants. Ants have such complex lives and social structures. They are incredibly intelligent, but not in the same way that you would consider most animals intelligent. While, like, a dolphin or a magpie is intelligent, like, emotionally and logically, ants are intelligent the way that, like, a supercomputer is. Ants are like little smart robots. Just to list off some ant facts, ants have been observed engaging in military strategies similar to the ones that we do in real life when they enter war with other ant colonies. Isn't that alone insane to you? They are using the same tactics that humans do in their little bug wars. First of all, they're having wars to begin with, and the fact that they're using any type of, like, tangible strategy is insane for a non-human creature to be doing. Something really cool, but also, like, equally fucked up, is that when an ant is injured, occasionally other ants will come and nurse it back to health, but ants are capable of knowing when they cannot be saved. When an ant is grievously injured, it will tell other ants to leave it to die. Is that not crazy to you?
Go on without me, my sister. I can't be saved. Somebody has to claim that sugar cube for our colony.
Oh yeah, ants passed the mirror test, by the way. Did you hear me? Let me repeat that. Ants have passed the mirror test, something that not even your dog can do. An ant can recognize itself in a mirror. Let me tell you some of the animals that have passed the mirror test, and there's not many. Orangutans, bottlenose dolphins, elephants, chimpanzees, manta rays, orcas, and ants. Does one of those stand out to you? An ant is more aware of itself than a typical house cat. Isn't that fucked up? Not only are ants intelligent, but from all the stuff I've learned looking into them, they go through some of the most horrific stuff I have ever heard an animal go through. There are so many different types of parasites that enter, like, an ant colony that do, like, straight up psychological horror shit to these bugs. Which is a great transition into number 8.
You eat babies. You have to survive. Everyone knows that. Ain't your fault.
We eat berries and mushrooms, you fool!
This is what is known as a large blue butterfly. I like to call it a freak of nature. Let me tell you about how this pretty little butterfly's life cycle goes. First, it starts as a little caterpillar, as most butterflies do. Then, it finds its way over to an ant colony and starts crying. And by that, I mean it starts mimicking the sounds that a distressed queen ant makes. So of course the ants come over and they're like, what the fuck is going on? The caterpillar then begins to secrete a pheromone that makes it smell exactly like a queen ant. So at this point, all the ants are like, alright, this is the queen ant, and she's clearly hurt, so we gotta bring her back home. Now obviously this is a trick, a lie, a ruse, but for what? Why would this caterpillar want to pretend to be a queen ant to get into the colony? Well, I'll tell you, once she's in the colony and all the ants believe that she's the queen so she can just wander around to do whatever she wants, she'll start eating babies. Yeah, she'll just walk up to all the little pupas and start munching on them. And all the ants are like, well, shit, that's the queen. I can't tell her to do anything. She's having fun. And it's like, dude, you gotta get this thing out of here. But they do not, in fact, get that thing out of there. It continues to live there and munch on babies until it grows fucking enormous. This caterpillar grows 100 times its original size and then becomes a little chrysalis. And from there emerges the large blue butterfly. Isn't that fucked up? I know I'm saying that a lot in this video, and I will continue to do so, but like, isn't it? Can you imagine for a second if that scenario were to happen to people? If you were like a guard for a castle, and you walked out, and there was your queen, she was injured, she was crying, you bring her in, and all of a sudden she starts going behind your back and eating children, but everything in your biology is telling you not to stop her, and she continues to grow into this unrecognizable creature, but every single instinct is just letting her do it, until one day she cocoons and outcrawls this unimaginable blue beast that just flies away and is never seen again. I know I'm overthinking this, but the fact that this is something that happens on our planet and to other living things is insane to me. These ants are getting put through alien invasion movie scenarios, and nobody is giving a shit about it. I'm sorry, I'm calm now. I'm not calm. I'm gonna be thinking about that for the rest of my life, but, number 7.
What the f***? You're walking a fucking ostrich, you daft cunt.
Number 7 is the only animal that I'm aware of to have won a war against an entire country. That, of course, is the emu. Now, I'm sure most of you guys already know this wacky fact, but for those who don't, back in the 1930s, Australia literally went to war against emus that were destroying their crops. And they lost. Yeah, it turns out emus are kinda hard to shoot, so they just kinda gave up, and the emus were declared to have won the war.
Caboose? Caboose, is that you? Yes! Sharks, it's me! I missed you so much! It has been so long! Did you miss me? Fuck! I missed him! I know you did!
The existence of the Great Emu War on its own is pretty insane, but honestly, not that out of character for Australia, as that place is just a real-world cartoon and I refuse to believe anything that happens there is real. Honestly, we are so goddamn lucky that war just consisted of some guys sitting on the sidelines and shooting at birds, cause if anyone tried to get up there and actually fight an emu, they would have lost. Horribly. Emus are terrifying. I don't think it needs to be said that an emu can absolutely outrun any of us. They are incredibly fast. But not only can their kicks shatter our spines, their claws can disembowel us. Isn't that fun? Personally, I don't think any living creature should be able to disembowel something so easily, but alas, it's the will of God, and I can't stop it no matter how much I want to. And not to get too personal, but I don't like the look they have in their eyes. There's something dull yet devilish that I can't quite place, but I do not enjoy. Emus are far too tall, far too powerful, and I don't think anything that looks like that should have military experience. At number 6, we have the Wolverine frog, also known as the horror frog, and you're gonna find out why. So this little freak is most known for its ability to grow claws as a frog. And how does it do that? Well, it shatters the bones in its hands and forces the shattered bones out through its fingertips. And I don't know about you, but I feel like there's probably a more efficient way to go about that. You know, one that doesn't involve intentionally shattering the bones in your hand. Now, don't get me wrong, the idea of breaking your hand bones and using your shattered bones as claws is metal as hell. I just don't think you need to be doing all that, bud. There are so many animals that have retractable claws, and I don't think that's necessary in order to accomplish it. I'm not an animal expert, I just think you're overdoing it a little bit, man. It also has the name the hairy frog because it has that, and it's real yucky and I don't like looking at it. Overall, I think this guy's just doing too much. Like, you're already a frog, man. People love you. You don't need to do this shit to yourself. Please, put your bones back in your fingers and go sit on a lily pad somewhere. I'm saying this for the sake of you, alright? I'm saying this for the sake of your health. You need to chill the fuck out. Also, apparently these frogs are edible, like people eat them. I don't know if they taste good, but I don't feel like looking into that. Just thought I should mention that. If I had to know it, then so did you.
It's always great when the mascots and cheerleaders get together. Whoa! Engulfed! That's not right.
At last we arrive at the halfway point of the list with this delightful little sea creature known as the black swallower. Oh my god, why does it look like that? The deep reaches of the sea is by far the scariest thing about planet Earth, and possibly the universe, considering how eager we are to venture deeper into space and get farther away from the ocean as we feasibly can. The black swallower, or as I like to call it, the vorfish, is definitely no exception to this. I mean, just by looking at it, you can tell that something is deeply, deeply wrong. In case you haven't put two and two together, this fish's whole deal is being able to swallow things much larger than itself. Specifically, things that are almost 10 times its own body mass. Why in God's name would anything be able to do that? For what purpose does a creature need to have that ability? It's not even good at using that ability either, considering most of the specimens that we've gotten of this fish are from ones that have eaten so much its stomach explodes and it floats to the surface. Oh, right, and because most of the specimens that we've gotten of this thing are ones that have exploded themselves, we basically don't know anything about it, as is the case for most deep-sea fish, which is frightening. The less I know, the more scared I am, but I also don't want to know anymore. You know what I mean? I'm still just, baffled that the black swallower exists at all. How does something even begin evolving in this direction? Anyway, we haven't quite escaped the ocean yet, as at number 4, we have the octopus. Just another case of an animal being way too smart. Personally, I think we should stop octopodes from evolving altogether before they realize they can easily overpower us. And yes, by the way, the plural of octopus is octopodes. Step up and fight me about it. They can use tools, solve puzzles, and can escape from basically anywhere. There are so many stories of octopodes busting out of their tanks that we should know by now that they are ungovernable. What really starts worrying me is when an animal has the capacity for spite. An octopus definitely does. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that study about octopodes punching fish out of spite. And, yeah, they do that. It's really fucking funny. I'm not gonna read the study out to you guys, you can go look for it for yourself, but, that's too much sapience for me, dog, personally. There's also that story, I think, about a scientist who accidentally gave their octopus a rotten treat, to which the octopus proceeded to bust out of its tank, crawl all the way to the scientist, and throw their treat at them. And, yeah, these things are gonna wise up one day, and it's not gonna look good for us.
This is a platypus.
Alrighty, here we are at number 3, and this is where I'm gonna lose some of you, if I haven't lost some of you already. At number 3, we have the platypus. Hey, don't leave yet, let me talk, let me cook. I know. I am aware at how much of a low-hanging fruit the platypus is when it comes to talking about weird animals, but these things are freaks, okay? Popular things are popular for a reason. This thing has its reputation for a reason. Look, I'm not gonna waste your time, let me just run down the list. Their skull looks like that, they sweat milk, the males have poisonous spurs, when they swim they are blind and deaf, they hunt with electricity? Of course, there's the egg-laying mammal bit, they're bioluminescent. Also, have you seen how small they are? I thought they were way bigger. And lastly, one of my favorite history facts ever, when the Europeans first discovered the platypus,
They thought it was a joke. They thought it was like a taxidermied amalgamation of some kind. And to be fair, I also would think the same thing if I had never seen a platypus before. It looks made up, and I'm sure we can all agree on that.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
Alright, I know. No more platypus. I'm sorry, but it's like the rules to talk about the platypus when you're having a conversation about weird animals. It's in the law or something. Like, if I didn't mention the platypus, somebody would come to my house and shoot me. Number 2.
Mantis shrimp. Hey, I already apologized for the platypus. I am not going to apologize for including the mantis shrimp. These things are a crime against nature. I can't not talk about them. Do you understand me?
Okay, for those of you who haven't heard of the angriest thing in the ocean yet, let me break it down for you.
Mantis shrimp, neither mantis nor shrimp by the way, are these freaky little dudes that live in the ocean and have specialized claws that operate sorta like a flintlock pistol. And these claws are what the mantis shrimp are all about. And these claws are what help the mantis shrimp deliver its notorious punch. And let me explain to you why this punch is so notorious. Firstly, it is extremely fast, and by that I mean 60 miles per hour. Fast enough that it boils the water around it.
It's not even pink, it's raw!
And Coop has delivered undercooked salmon.
This punch delivers 1,500 newtons of force. 1,500 newtons of force that this little dude can dish out whenever he feels like it. That feels a little bit overkill, don't you think? When I think of a mantis shrimp, two very specific videos come to my mind. The first is the one you've probably seen of a guy fishing a mantis shrimp out of the ocean, and it punches a hole through his fucking boot and makes him bleed everywhere. Obviously, I'm not going to show that, but it's on YouTube if you ever wanted to see it. And the second one is that clip of a mantis shrimp punching a crab, and after a few seconds, the crab's arm, like, slowly floats off, like an anime character getting cut in half. It's like, it's cartoonish, but it's something that actually happened. It's nuts to think about. One last thing on the mantis shrimp. While I was researching it for this video, I was looking up mantis shrimp facts, and one of them says, and I quote, "The eyes of mantis shrimp can detect both cancer and neuron activity." I don't know what that means, but I don't think an animal should be able to do that.
Come here.
Alright, let me go over some quick honorable mentions before our number 1 spot. Moose. Too big. I don't like it.
This is some fucking National Geographic shit. Mom, call a fucking cops or the ASPCA!
Hagfish. That prehistoric, like, shark thing with the wheel-shaped mouth. It's extinct now, but I don't think it should have been alive to begin with. Beavers. The power to control the flow of rivers is too much power for them to have. Wild hogs. Oh, what the fuck? At last, at our number 1 spot, I present to you the Immortal jellyfish. And no, that name is not an exaggeration, nor a metaphor of any kind. These jellyfish are biologically immortal. These jellyfish are above the universal law that all biological creatures follow, in that life will eventually end, but not for them. When an immortal jellyfish is scared or threatened in any way, it will revert back to its juvenile state, meaning it basically restarts its life all over again, and it can do this indefinitely. Look, you can call a lot of the animals on this list an affront to God, but I think this one applies the most. This is literally going against all that God stands for. This jellyfish figured out immortality before we did. And look, I'm gonna get weird for a second. This applies to all jellyfish, but isn't it kind of
alien or, like, angelic in some sort of way. Like, if this descended from the heavens and like, met up with me, I would think I was meeting an angel. Like, this thing should be saying, "Be not afraid." Look, I think about jellyfish a lot. And that is for the simple fact that these weird little organisms essentially have no self-awareness whatsoever. Like, they don't really have brains, and some of them don't have eyes. Jellyfish don't know that they're alive. And that kind of fucks with me. That there's this complex organism in the ocean, especially this one in particular, that can live forever, and it doesn't even know that it's alive. It has no consciousness. And I don't know, I'm sorry for getting, like, really weird at the end of this video, but that just, it makes me think a lot, and I don't know if they're bad thoughts, but they're definitely thoughts that I have very often. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Yay! It's finally done! Getting this out of the way, I am so sorry for how inconsistent the audio is throughout this video. I had to record it, like, in chunks, like, on different days, so I couldn't get the setup exactly the same every time, and the reason is that, as I stated before, I'm in college, so I have a lot more, I guess, important matters to deal with. Yeah, this channel isn't exactly gonna be a top priority for me anymore, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna stop making content. I don't want to stop making content, and I'm gonna keep trying to. It's just gonna be even less consistent than before, and I am so sorry about that, but you've all been super patient, and I am so appreciative of that. Thank you so much for being so patient and being so kind. I will continue to do my best to produce the best quality content that I can, especially in the situation that I'm in. So, tell me what you think the most fucked up animal is in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and like this video to die instantly. Goodbye!